Hello and welcome to Curiosity's Sake. If you're watching this from Guantanamo Bay, well congratulations, you've been selected to trial a new method of torture. Last time I covered a nostalgic TV show, and many people would agree with me that though it has been a while, a lot of people remember Pokemon fondly. I don't really plan to revisit it again anytime soon, because the last time I tried to watch one of the movies, I couldn't get to the end of it. But I still remember my time spent on Pokemon quite fondly, and I remember the merchandise being good and other things. However, this franchise, Little Britain, is one that I do not remember fondly. But I do remember liking it at the time. In fact, everybody liked it at the time. Now, when I was going into this, I had the incredibly biased opinion that the praise towards this show was not well earned, and that the show was complete garbage. Unfortunately, my opinions on the show were really uninformed. And I didn't realise this until I actually started watching it in order to get the clips for this opening. The first season in particular is actually pretty damn funny. There are some rather clever jokes revolving around visual or just genuine humour, and a number of great comedians and actors give their talent towards the project. It is a lot of fun to watch, and I did forget that I was watching something that I was supposed to be hating. The second series, again, is not too bad either, but I did find that it did kind of push some of the more creative ideas aside for the cash-friendly catchphrases, and from what I remember, Series 3 did this completely. Season 3 wasn't just hated by me, it was hated by pretty much everybody in the world. To the point that eventually Matt Lucas and David Walliams just axed the show because they just ran out of jokes for it. They eventually took the thing abroad and then tried to take it to America, but it never really worked. They never got that same charm that they got in the original series, mainly because those two series implied that all the cast of Little Britain go on holiday to the same place every fucking year, which makes no sense. But anyway, it was during the height of its downfall, if there can be a height of its downfall. I guess the lowest point of its downfall. What am I even fucking saying? Anyway, it was during this low point that they decided it would be a good idea to release the Little Britain video game. So obviously, it's gotta be something that's bristling with quality, right? Well, I know that after my description of the third season and how everybody hated it because it was just lowest common denominator cash-in crap, I'm pretty sure that many people will probably think that this is going to be the height of entertainment and video game programming. Unfortunately, it's not very good. I don't mean to spoil my overall opinion on the game right here and now, but I've got a feeling that a lot of people were expecting a lot of this game and probably had high hopes for it, so I've just got to tell you that it's not very good. But don't worry, I am going to back up my opinion with a lot of good, hard, solid evidence. So let's get to Little Britain, the game. You start off by navigating over to play. There is a challenge mode, but no, I'm not going there. I'm just not. So, upon selecting your first mission, because the rest of them are locked for some reason, you'll get a narration from 4th Doctor Tom Baker, which is something so spectacular that it's actually on the back of the box. It even says, plus Tom Baker as the narrator, along with starring Matt Lucas and David Walliams, fucking hell they were grasping at straws here, features classic clips from the TV show. Okay, so what about the game? The ultimate Little Britain experience. Okay, well, play your favourite famous characters in 3D. Okay, well, these are all great features, but these are the bare minimum that I expect of a game around Little Britain. What have you got for me that makes this game any good? Oh, here we go. 8 hilarious action-packed games. Wait, I don't see 8. I see 7. Where the fuck's number 8? Now, I would say that this is false advertising, but to be honest, I'm actually pretty glad. I actually like this idea. It gives me a bit of hope. The back of the box told me I had 8 of these grueling, shitty games to go through. But, actually, I only have 7. I mean, this is just the best news ever. At this point, I should probably bring it to your attention that I bought this game second-hand for £1, and it was apparently still in the cellophane. Yeah, this is the game before I unboxed it. Still in the cellophane. That means whoever owned it before me took one look at it and said, no. Just no. I'm not gonna play this shit. So, yeah, that's a really good sign of things to come. So the first stage is Vicky Pollard rollerblading through a park to try and collect CDs. Okay, well, they do explain it, so I can't get too mad. The first thing you're probably going to notice is the graphics, but the first thing that I noticed are the controls. The controls for this game are god-awful. The reason for this is that in order to accelerate, you have to hammer the fuck out the spacebar. I'm not even kidding. If you want to understand what this game is like, for every second that I'm moving, open up a notepad and just keep hammering the space bar, and tell me in 10 minutes if you're hurting or not. For me, it's even worse, because I'm dyspraxic and I have problems with my wrists, which means that if I do the same repetitive action over and over again, I'm going to get a lot of strain from that, to the point that it will cause me agonizing pain. The control in this is so fucking shit, so fucking broken that I couldn't even get past the first stage on easy difficulty for a while. What you're probably seeing before you isn't half as bad as what I'm usually like with this game. I don't understand it because it is actually kind of frustrating that I've actually gotten good at this game, like I've adjusted to its crap factor. But I'm assuring you, the control for this game is fucked beyond belief. Having to press the E button to jump and having to press the directional buttons whilst hammering the space bar really does drive me insane, because it's so easy to miss the mark. And if you do, you won't know it until like 4 seconds in when the control actually kicks in. Yeah, what's a shitty game without delayed controls? These controls are so fucking delayed that I'm pretty sure that you could watch an entire box set in between each action. Trying to get out the way of an obstacle with a 5-second delay or so really does not work. Whoever programmed this is a lazy prick, and I hate them. I hate them with my heart and soul because they cause me physical pain and frustration at the same time. This is the ultimate method of torture, and whoever did this is a sick, vindictive fuck. So whilst your hand's aching like Piers Morgan's does on a Sunday afternoon, you can probably take in a moment to appreciate the graphics. Yeah, they look like fucking shit. Bear in mind that this was made in 2007, the same year as Portal and BioShock, and those games still look good today. So, seriously, this looks shit for 2004. Who the hell came up with this? This is terrible. So not only is my eyes being assaulted and my wrists, but also my ears are. Because guess what? It won't be a shitty game based on a TV show without reminding us that we are in fact playing a shitty game based on a TV show. So I hope you like sound bites, because you're going to be hearing Vicky Pollard's catchphrases every 4 fucking seconds. It drives me insane. This is the first level of the game and it's already put my blood pressure through the fucking roof. This is horrible on every level. It's complete and utter fucking garbage. Why the hell am I being subjected to this horrible crap? Who put this through? Who greenlighted this? This is the worst. I'm in pain, my ears are being raped, my eyes are being molested, and my God, I can't do this. This is the worst. You might notice that there's like a 6-minute time limit. That might seem pretty generous, and in any competent game, it would be. It would be over generous. But believe it or not, this isn't enough. Yeah, 6 minutes isn't enough. You will lose this game on the first lap before you've even had enough time to cry into your first cornflake. Wait, hold on. That sounds familiar. But anyway, I originally thought that this was going to be like some sort of aggressive inline or Tony Hawk's thing. You know, where you roll around and do tricks for points. And when I thought about it, that would actually make a better game. Kinda like The Simpsons skateboarding. Yeah, okay, it wouldn't have been a good game, but it would have been a game that I could at least play. This shit's unplayable, to the point that it is awful. Is this really the best thing as well that they had for Vicky Pollard to be doing? Rollerblading around and picking up CDs? I understand that it's a reference to chav culture and the idea is that she's collecting them to hang on a wall for a party, but that as a thing was out of fashion by 2007. Now, I remember it being in fashion as a kid. I remember seeing it on shows and even going to some people's houses and seeing people glue CDs to walls. I never understood it myself and I've never attempted it. I have a theory as to how this fashion even came to be. When you think about it, the people who were teenagers around that time were probably around 9 to 6 when, you know, their older brothers and sisters were teenagers. And their older brothers and sisters probably stocked up on S Club and Steps albums, all the shit that was popular in the late 90s. And I imagine that their younger brothers or sisters inherited their CD collection when they finally left home, which meant that they had a bunch of unlistenable CDs to listen to, but would much rather stick pins in their ears and do so. So I assume that they just used them as decoration, and to be honest, I don't blame them. However, this doesn't really work because this was fashionable in 2003, and this is 2007. She might as well be wearing a fucking corset. You know, when I think about this, and I really want to get through the game but don't, I tried to think of a more amusing scenario. I imagine that Vicky Pollard is actually Matt Lucas dressed up as Vicky Pollard for promotional material, and that he's rollerblading around the local area to try and raise awareness for the video game. He comes back to the park and suddenly realizes that most people who've bought the Little Britain video game have discarded it and thrown it on the ground because it's so shit. So Matt Lucas is rollerblading around picking up the discarded copies of Little Britain so that he can pawn them in at CEX and make a profit on that stinker. So my punishment for making it through that shit is that I get to move on to the next level. But first, I get to watch a clip from the TV show. Yay! Now on the PC version, these clips don't work. As soon as they open, they crash to desktop. But fortunately, I have a copy of this piece of fucking shit on the PlayStation 2, so we get to see them after all. So after that, you have to play another part of the game, which is, for once, based on an actual sketch. The sketch in question is a Lou and Andy sketch in which Lou takes Andy to the swimming baths and ends up having a very long conversation with the lifeguard about getting Andy in the pool. Andy loses patience, gets out of the chair, climbs up the highest diving board and jumps in. It's funny because you wouldn't expect him to do that because he is wheelchair bound. To be fair, this sketch was kind of funny at the time, but because it's pretty much the only sketch they ever show from Little Britain these days, it's kind of lost its charm. However, this level is actually based around it. Oh joy. Now I do have to admit, this level is actually way easier and way more enjoyable than the shitty Vicky Pollard level. The reason for this is that the control, though not great, is a lot easier. You have to hammer the space bar, or was it the E? Fuck it, they're both stupid. To climb up the ladder, and eventually make it all the way to the top diving board. Or you can jump off the smallest one, but that doesn't get you any points, so... Anyway, unlike the Vicky Pollard one, it's actually safe to use tricks in this. But how one does that is a mystery for the ages. It does tell you how to do it, but it says action this, action that, and quite honestly, I have no idea what the fuck action 1 is and action 2. I could look it up, but why, when I could just mash buttons instead? I know that that makes me sound like Chris Bores, but come on, like seriously, this is Little Britain the game. Why would I waste time looking up the controls when I can pass just by mashing the buttons? Seriously, if you honestly want me to look this up, then go look it up yourself and tell me that it wasn't time wasted. As far as I'm aware, there isn't actually a way to fail this stage, unlike the original. There's the time limit, but that's a lot easier to beat. The only thing that I can think of which is close to failing is if you jump too high and get noticed. If that happens, well, it is kind of funny.
Andy, how did you get up there?
I fell.
Oh, what a kerfuffle.
So anyway, after you inevitably beat that, because unlike the previous stage, it's way too fucking easy, you get moved on to the next area. The next layer of hell, as I like to call it. So this next one is based around Marjorie Dawes, who I believe is a reference to another character that Matt Lucas played called George Dawes.
What's the song about? Bad peanuts!
Now, I have no idea what kind of game you could make out of this character, because her only shtick is just going around telling people that they're fat. So, I don't even know what you could do with this. Maybe a Cooking Mama style game? I don't know. Let's find out, I guess. I think I'll try this one on medium. Oh, fuck off.
Love.
Fuck right off. It's a fucking Pac-Man clone. Jesus fucking Christ. Are you for real? Seriously, a fucking Pac-Man clone. What is this? 1990 fucking 3. Seriously, what the hell? The amount of stuff that you could do in this game based on games that were coming out at this time, and this is the best that you can come up with. A fucking Pac-Man clone. How fucking dated was their fucking awareness of video games at the time? Who is this going to be nostalgic towards? The average Little Britain fan at this time was 13. Who the hell at 13 knew the intricate gameplay of fucking Pac-Man? Yes, they've probably heard of it, but they didn't fucking play it. Screw this game. Fuck this game. It's just so lazy.
You know, spring
Fucking
onion
shit.
yourself.
So yeah, you have to go around picking up all these little pellets and cake. The cake's like cherry, I think, in Pac-Man, and you're allowed to chase off the fat people. Yeah, fat people, not ghosts. So anyway, eventually, on the medium difficulty, you have to go up a floor, and quite honestly, I lost heart. I mean, seriously, can you blame me? I want to get this over with as fast as possible. So eventually, I said fuck it, and just did it on the easiest difficulty, after failing the medium. Because quite honestly, I don't care. I'm embarrassed enough that I'm playing this piece of fucking shit without having to fucking go through a load of torment just to get through it. If you're expecting this to be a masochistic, high score, hard level playthrough, then fuck off. Go make one yourself. If you want to see it, go make it. Because this is terrible. This is the worst game that I've ever been subjected to in my life. So anyway, going around, you get to pick up all these objects and you have to collect points. Dust, you can eat as much as you like, so you pick up a lot of that in order to get more points. Though everybody likes cake, this is just so shit.
I feel like I've been knocked down by
I wish you fucking would be.
To Tuesday.
So next we're going to Slut to visit a character called Letterbell. A character who I didn't even know existed and had to Google. Apparently she appears in one sketch in season 3. Wow. Now we really are scraping the bottom of the fucking barrel. No wonder they couldn't get 8 games for this piece of fucking shit. Alright, let's see what this has to offer. Now, her sketch involves her squishing a frog, so Let me take a wild stab in the dark and assume, yeah, it's you have to squish fucking frogs. Of course you do. As you can see, on my first attempt, I wasn't too sure as to how to play this. But as soon as I got the hang of it, there's not much I can really say about this. Don't get me wrong, it's not exactly good, but I can't really complain about anything. My only complaint really is the fact that these frogs are a bastard to hit. Which I know is the objective, but my god, this is fucking annoying. Stay still, you little arsehole! Shit! Fucking stay still! Die! Die! Fuck! Yeah, you can run, you little prick, but you can't hide! Die! 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 Fuck! Die! Ugh! Fucking little bastard, I've got you now! Die! Die! Haha! Die! After splattering enough of the amphibious arseholes, I finally win the day, and, well, this happens. Next we visit two trannies, Emily Howard and Florence. Well, this one is a penalty shootout game. For those of you who watch Match Day, so none of you, I did actually mention this during one of the episodes, but I totally lied. This game I actually found to be the most fun, and it's probably my second favourite game on the disc. I know, I have a favourite game and I can't believe it myself, but trust me, there is one of these which is not good, but it's better than the rest. This one I'd say comes close second. You basically go around kicking a football and trying to get it into a football net. You know, the basic fucking rules of football. As good as it is of a penalty shootout game, it still doesn't hold a candle to Rayman Raving Rabbids. As much as I fucking despise that game with every fibre of my being and every inch of my soul, it still never fails to make me laugh with the penalty shootout minigame. However, getting the hang of this penalty shootout shit is not as easy as it sounds. In fact, it took me a lot of attempts, and it was one of the few stages that I failed during the recording run through. I actually found this to be quite difficult, but not in a frustrating kind of way. I actually had quite a lot of fun trying to figure out how to beat the game. This is what you call a fun game. Even if it's not good, it's still fun to play. I got a laugh out of it, and to be honest, this isn't too bad. I'm going to hell. Now, I remember this being one of the more favourable games. I do have to say that it wasn't exactly easy to clear it, as I've said before. There were so many mistakes to make, and it did take a lot of getting used to. Fuck! Shit!
Out of play.
Yes, sir!
Balls!
Try again, Emily. Ball out of
Titty
play.
twat!
Try again, Emily.
Oh, God, this whole fucking thing again.
Go! Emily, have another go.
After some perseverance, I actually managed to clear the Emily Howard stage. The way of scoring was a little stranger than I was expecting, but hell, at least I managed to get some goals in, which is more than I can say for my so far track record on match day. So after that rather fun experience, let's see what this game holds for us next. So the next part of the game is... oh god. Oh no, not that, anything but that. Oh jeez. Okay, so if you're my mate from growing up, you might want to look away from this because this is your favourite sketch, the vomiting one. Yes, this whole sketch centres around projectile vomiting. Oh joy. But how do you make a game around projectile vomiting? Well, besides the following examples. But how do you? Well, you make it Dr. Mario, of course. Fuck me. No, I'm not going off on that rant again. I am not going off on that rant. But seriously, like, Dr. Mario, are you fucking kidding me? Like, that was 20 years ago. 20 fucking years ago. Can you have done something a little more relevant?
Cherry pie.
Okay. Let's see. This one might not be too bad. As it turns out, it's not actually that bad. I know, it sounds a bit like I'm giving this too much credit, but I swear, this isn't too bad. It's functional and actually kind of fun. This is my favourite of the mini-games, just because A, it's functional, B, it's kind of fun, and C, I only have one major complaint. There aren't any tactics that you can use, because you get one item fed at you at a time and only 4 slots, and there are multiple types of items. So how are you supposed to guess which ones you're going to be able to use and which ones you can't? You start a little pile of gingerbread men, but then have to make the decision. Do you want to keep going with that pile of gingerbread men, or do you want to sacrifice it for some marmalade or some jam and scones or something? I don't fucking know. The point is, maybe have more slots. On the harder difficulties you do, and to be honest, it really does help. Another thing that I fail to understand is, well, you're trying to make this character vomit, so why are you emptying her stomach? Surely the objective should be to try and prevent her stomach from getting full, so that she doesn't puke it. Kinda like Tetris? That would make sense. But here, it doesn't. It doesn't make a lick of sense. Her stomach's empty, so she vomits? Or is she digesting it into bile so that she can use it as ammunition against her enemies? Her enemies being a priest, a little girl, her friend, and some other people? It doesn't make any sense. Also, one of the sound bites actually has the friend going, "Oh no, Maggie, don't!" Like she's going to vomit, but there's absolutely no indication that she is, so it makes no sense. But apart from those nitpicks, it's not too bad of a game, and it does have a fucking brilliant finish. We finally finish with...
I am the only gay in this village.
Yeah, right. So, basically this is exactly the same as the fucking Vicky Pollard game. Well, not exactly, this one's a little more functional. The controls somehow isn't as delayed for me, and I did find this a little more enjoyable, although it was very fucking difficult. The first thing that I noticed was the fact that getting out of the way of projectiles is really difficult, because I constantly kept missing the mark and crashing the fucking bike. You also have to run over these stereotyped gays, and you also have to drive past LaFanway, I think that's her name, the woman who owns the bar. Well, you have to drive past her without actually crashing into her. Because if you do, she's an immovable object, and crashing into her knocks you off your bike. Don't ask me how that works, because
You're probably just a little
I've
bit
stopped
foolish.
questioning things at this point. I've just stopped caring. So you cycle your way through the village and pretty much pick up copies of Gay
Oh, you claim
Times
to be
and get
gay,
points
do
by
you?
running over other gay guys. Why? Well, he wants to be the only gay in the village, despite the fact that this looks like a YMCA fucking stage production.
You're probably just a
So
little
you
bit
keep
foolish.
going for some time until eventually, believe it or not, it finally fucking ends. This one's actually quite hard to meet the time limit, but for different reasons. Constantly crashing into projectiles that are driving towards you, and not being able to
Oh, you
avoid
claim to be gay,
constant
do you?
fucking things getting in the way,
You're
do
probably just a little
slow
bit
you
foolish.
down your progress. But apart from that, this
I
one's
think you'll
not
find
too
I am the
difficult.
only gay in
I
this
think
village.
really my biggest problem with this was the fact that I was getting bored and tired by this point. I mean, I've been playing this shit for what, an hour? It was driving me fucking insane. So, yeah, you can probably tell how unenthusiastic I am at this point, because this game's drained it out of me. So with that done, let us conclude. Little Britain, the video game, and the PC game is a menagerie of dysfunctionality, laziness, shittiness, sloppiness, ugliness. A game that plays, sounds, and looks like fucking shit. This game has few redeeming features, and those features that are redeemable aren't good enough to make this a good product. If I wasn't more aware of worse games thanks to my recent research, I would declare this to be the worst game I've ever played. Unfortunately though, I've dug so deep beneath the barrel that I've managed to find games a million times worse than this one that have no redeemable features whatsoever. But you know what? That doesn't excuse this garbage. You know what? I had a lot of thought as to whose fault this was. It's really difficult. I mean, when you think about it, you could blame the game designers, but if I was a game designer, I wouldn't fucking try with this shit. If I went to university for 5 years to learn how to program games, and I was told that I'm not going to be making the next Dragon Age, or even the next Call of Duty, no, I'm going to be making the Little Britain video game, at the point where everybody hated it. I won't put a single ounce of effort into this shit. Why would you? It's going to be garbage no matter how much you try. So, quite honestly, I could blame Matt Lucas and David Walliams. But, hell, they do their job okay. It's not their fault that the game's a massive pile of fucking wank. I mean, yeah, okay, they asked for the game to be made, but I think several concepts could have worked. This show was funny, and there were some things. It's difficult to tell without knowing how much creative control they had over the game, and whether or not their relationship with the developers and publishers was as similar to that as Postal 3, in which the company developing it basically closed themselves off from the creative people for months on end. But, you know what? I don't really give a shit. Matt Lucas and David Walliams could have pulled the plug on this when they realised it's shit. And look at Tom Baker, grinning away. Fuck you, Tom Baker. Lying pig shit. So anyway, yeah, that's Little Britain the video game. A complete travesty designed to make money and try to rip off the few people remaining in the world who honestly thought that something good could come out of this franchise. The lowest that Matt Lucas and David Walliams could ever sink. Well, that wasn't until 2011 when they made Come Fly With Me. I'm Professor Curious, and this is Curiosity's Sake. Thank you for your patience in viewing this. Join me next time when I go up to Mount Olympus to meet the gods.
I swear to Christ, if I have to fix this again in another 5 years, I'm gonna be pissed.
Frechen und Kirche bei Brüchen.